It's time for new shocks on the HHR.
Look out!
If you're like me and you maintain your own vehicles, you gotta kind of do it whenever you can. Hence, it's dark here, and I got the light. I'm just changing some shocks because it's been weighing on me, and I can tell it needs to be done. And this car's got 217,000 miles on it now, so it's time. Make sure you use a jack stand. Okay, I just put the jack stand right there. Tiny little drum brakes. The shock right here. Just a bolt up here and a bolt down here. Very small. Going to I looked at the brakes on the other side, they look fine. Might go ahead and look at these too. If you're going to change these, quite easy. One bolt down there, one at the top. So 18 on the top, 21 on the bottom. Now I'm going to check the brakes. Okay. You will need one of these. This is a rear brake adjuster, and if you feel down in here, there's a rubber. Oops. There's a rubber plug, for lack of a better term, in the back here, dust cover, basically. That keeps dirt and stuff out of the brake system. And there's a wheel in here you've got to move to retract the brake shoes. Careful when you're doing this, don't break off this edge. It will not be a happy camper. You can get these what they call turned, where the inside will have uneven groove surface, so they'll make it all one. They turn it down to where it's all smooth, no grooves, no high spots or anything, and it tells you right here, max safe diameter 9.094 inches, so the machine shop will know exactly how to handle that. Here's a tip. I've been fighting with this thing for about the past 30 minutes. Turns out this thing is stuck on there. I just put some WD-40 just here. Don't get any on the brakes. And then tapped. And the thing came loose. So I might do, going forward, put some anti-seize on the back of this to keep that from happening again. This is getting corroded. Corrosion is freezing it or fusing it, whatever you want to call it, to the hub, which is the back of this. When I get this off, I'll show you. Okay, here's the hub I was telling you about. This is where it sticks, so if you just put some anti-seize compound in between here, it doesn't take much. It'll keep this from wanting to get happy with the inside of the drum stick together. The surface here is where I was telling you the machine shop will know what the max thick or minimum thickness is. They can go, and it looks like these brake shoes are in pretty good shape. They don't come with a lot of pad on here, so this is alright. Looks like I got a good 1/8 inch and these have been on here for 100, probably, yeah, about 100,000 miles, if not more, and they're doing just fine. You want to make sure that the whole surface is there. There's no cracks, no checking in here. And these look fine to me. I'm gonna wash them down with some brake cleaner, get all this stuff off, and show you what that looks like afterwards. Okay, here's my brake cleaner. I'm just gonna soak all this down with it, catch it in a towel so it doesn't get all over my driveway. That's it. Never would have known that was blue. Now, here's the wheel I was turning from the inside to get these shoes to retract towards each other. So it's this tool right in the back here. It just turns. You can see that. See it turning? Just turns that. There. This piece here keeps it adjusted. So when you drive and you step on the brakes, this will turn and they'll go out, and then this will keep it from going backwards, so they'll stay out. So it'll just barely come away from the drum when you release the brake, and it'll just be right there next to it, not rubbing on it. It's the way it's supposed to work anyway. This is your wheel cylinder. Sometimes these leak and you'll have wet spots. You know, you have brake fluid dripping from in here, so you want to watch for that. Replace them if they're leaking. As a matter of fact, these are 11 years old. These are probably going to be due here soon. As soon as they start leaking. Otherwise, they're staying. Anti-seize, mechanic's best friend. Like I said, I'm going to put some here, 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 here. I'm going to even put a little bit on the threads. Not that I live in the Rust Belt or anything, but it's always a good idea. So let's spread this around. This drum will not stick again. There we go. Little for the lug nuts. Now, this just goes back on. And I'm going to put a little bit here as well. And that'll keep the wheel from sticking to the drum. Do it wherever it's contacting. Every wheel is a little bit different, so wherever it contacts, that's where you want to put this so it doesn't stick. There you go. When you're done with your rag that's got your brake dust in it and brake cleaner, just throw it away. You don't want to use this again. That's brake dust, and when this dries, the brake dust will be what they call friable, so it can float around, and you don't want to breathe this stuff in, so just get rid of it. Okay, changing the shock. Just going to take this bolt out. There's no nut on the back. I'm going to take that bolt out. There is no nut on the back. These just come out straight, and the shock comes out. The new shock goes in. Bolts go back in the same spot. There isn't even that much torque on these, honestly. Okay, here's the two different shocks. This one is quite a bit thinner, and it's the factory. It's almost 11 years old, and this is the new one. OE Spectrum shocks and struts. Supposed to be as good as or better than the original equipment. I think this one's going to be much better, especially better than an old one. The tube is a little bit thicker. So install is the opposite of removal. Put the bottom down there, top in that slot behind this piece here. Put the bolts in, good to go. Let's see. Maybe I can even do this with one hand. No, I can't. Don't forget to put your dust plug back in. That's pretty important. Okay, brakes look good. Shock's been replaced. Right there. And I'm gonna put the wheel back on. I'm gonna pull the jack stand first, then put the wheel on since I won't be underneath of it. Get the lug nuts semi-tight, put the car back on the ground, pull the jack out, and then go ahead and finish my torque on the wheels. Keep in mind these get torqued crisscross pattern. Here, 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 and here. They tell you to do that for a reason. Get a nice even torque all the way around there and you don't have any problems. And make sure you follow your owner's manual or published product data for torque specs on these. I don't ever torque them to torque specs. I just get them tight, but that's just me. It doesn't mean you have to. Now you'll notice I did not tighten up the adjuster wheels to get the brake shoes back to where they need to be to make the pedal tight, make the pedal firm. So what you do in that case, and you can tell it's dark, is step on the pedal a few times. That should bring the brake shoes back, and it did. It just got firm. So I'm going to go ahead and start the car and back it up a couple times, hit the brakes firmly, and that'll reset the shoes. Then you should be good to go. Let's see how it is with these new shocks. Okay, changing out the shocks on this thing, complete success. If you want to get that new car ride back, get a quality set of shocks installed, or do it yourself. You saw how easy it was, and you'll notice a difference if yours were as worn out as mine.